Hey everyone, welcome into The Hop. Gabe and Steven here, back with you for another round of drinking. We hope everyone is doing okay. We hope you're well. Thank you for joining us.
We're going to dive right into it today. Let's grab a drink.
All right, guys. So we have a great episode today that we're super excited about. Before we dive into all that, however, we do want to take a minute to address everything that's going on in the world. And if it's okay with you, if you'll indulge me, I was born on April 29th, 1992, and I was born in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And on that day, April 29th, 1992, a jury announced the verdict in the trial of the officers involved in the beating of Rodney King, and those officers were acquitted. And by that night, Los Angeles had descended into riots and chaos that resulted in violence, murder, and led to a number of riots around all of America. My parents had to drive past police presence and chaos in general, upheaval in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And I was literally born into a country that was experiencing unrest, upheaval, a country that was on fire because of racial tension, because of abuse of people of color by law enforcement. And I'm sitting here now in Los Angeles, about a mile away from where all that started on 71st and Normandy, 28 years later, almost to the day. And nothing has changed. So I'm just taking a moment to reflect on that myself. And Gabe and I both are very aware that we are straight white guys drinking beer, and that whatever our experience with this is minimal at best, but it's still a moment for us to speak what's on our mind.
Yeah, we really just wanted to take a minute and just kind of acknowledge what is going on. We have our own platform here on the podcast, and there are just so many lives at stake, and it's really hard to see. And, we just wanted to, really express our feelings toward it and just let everyone know, we are here with you. We stand with you. We see you guys. We see everyone out there. For anyone who's protesting, we applaud you. We just hope you're safe. It's just, it's very unfortunate that it took that to get a simple message across. Please protect one another. Please look out for one another. If you want to get involved in any way, if you want to give back, if you want your voice to be heard, we recommend going. There are quite a few organizations and movements being created every single day to give back. The George Floyd Memorial Fund, which is a GoFundMe page, taking donations toward the family of George Floyd. The Minnesota Freedom Fund, a community-based nonprofit that pays criminal bail and immigration bonds. The Black Visions Collective, Reclaim the Block, Campaign Zero, Unicorn Riot. There are so many great organizations that are really trying to bring everyone together and trying to help. We hear you, we see you, we stand with you. We hope everyone is okay. Let's come together to bring peace.
That said, we're going to do what we do. We're going to drink beer. We're going to have a good time, and hopefully we can be a form of distraction, entertainment. Hopefully you'll grab a beer with us, and we'll do what we do. So thank you guys. Let's dive in to the news from the beer world. What's happening in beer land, Gabe?
We've got quite a few things. Some Minneapolis craft breweries are lending their support to everyone protesting in the streets. One particular company, the Minneapolis-based Modest Brewing, wrote on Thursday on all their social media platforms, "Our community needs justice for George Floyd, and we need it now. We are going to donate all of our proceeds from the time George Floyd was murdered through the end of the month directly to George Floyd's family and the causes listed below. If there's a throw those cops in jail fund, we'll continue to that too." It's really great to see. They are passing out free hot dogs for protesters. They have water available. They have first aid available, which, let's be real, is probably the most important piece of all of this. On their signs, it says, "We can't advertise that we'll give you beer, but just ask." They're holding it down, which is great. They also tweeted out a photo of George Floyd, and it says, "If you are out protesting tonight, please be safe, be kind, and be fucking loud. We got your back. Hashtag justice for George Floyd." It's really great to see, especially in our neck of the woods, so to speak. Craft breweries are really coming together. The owners of Minneapolis Indeed Brewing on Thursday issued an open letter to the police department asking to end a requirement for event hosts to not pay off-duty police officers on site. They did mention they've never had a problem with off-duty police officers, but they are recognizing what is going on in the protesters and how their customers and people are feeling. So they know people are very uncomfortable right now with everything. They want everyone to feel welcome, safe, and secure. So another great cause, another great brewery doing its part to help out in any way they can. That was Modest Brewing and Indeed Brewing, Minneapolis.
And we also received an email from Beer Advocate today, which we enjoyed reading and wanted to share with our listeners. But Beer Advocate is making it very clear to their users that they stand with the Black Lives Matter movement. They believe, as we all believe, as I think we certainly believe on this podcast, that beer is meant to be a place for people to gather, bring people together. It's a convivial experience drinking beer. There's an SAT word for you. But Beer Advocate, they feel sort of dropped the ball when it comes to flagging or banning accounts that post content that's defamatory, abusive, hateful, threatening. Oftentimes these posts have just been flagged or removed, but the account has not been banned. So they did take a stand, sent out an email today clarifying that any form of racism will be met with a ban without warning. Doesn't matter who you are, how many times you posted, how many beer reviews you have, or how long you've been on the site, or if you're just joking around, quote unquote. Racism will not be tolerated at Beer Advocate. This is just great to see because right now, we are in a moment, absolutely, when social media companies, internet companies are constantly trying to decide what their role is in terms of policing content. Are they responsible for the content that's on their website? And Beer Advocate is taking a stand. And I speak as someone who got banned from Beer Advocate for a brief period of time. I didn't post anything racist. I was just trying to promote this podcast. Not allowed.
You got banned for promoting the podcast?
Our podcast account got banned for like a day, and I had to go back to them and be like, I was just trying to... Not allowed. Can't do that. You can't do that.
Oh my God.
On Beer Advocate.
Well, shout out to Todd Alstrom, the founder of Beer Advocate, for sending this notice out about banning this kind of behavior on his site. Into more beer matters, the Riverbend Malt House is announcing a pecan wood smoked wheat malt. I'm going to say that again because it's delicious. They have announced a pecan wood smoked wheat malt. This is coming in Asheville, North Carolina. The Riverbend Malt House. They're announcing immediate availability of their new malt. It's a hand-smoked malt. It's their first release in a series of smoked malt products, which will be introduced in coming months. Riverbend's VP of Engineering, Adam Demchak, designed and hand-built the smoker. Apparently, it's been something they've been kind of putting in the works for a really long time. They said, we found that flavor options for smoked malts were extremely limited, and they wanted to kind of expand people's palates and expand the palates of beer and whatnot. Brewers will find that the new smoked products allowed them to explore new flavors in beers, such as Rausch beers, while distillers can take advantage of the new and unique malt flavors in distilled products, such as American single malt whiskeys. I am so excited about this. It had me at smoked. When I saw smoked, I was like, oh, let's do it.
New malt means new beer, and new beer means new deliciousness, and I am a fan of those things, even though they're pecan malts and I'm allergic to nuts, but I'll let it go.
I was just going to say, can you even drink it?
I mean, probably. It's probably just the flavor. There's probably not pecans in pecans.
They're floating
pecans.
in the beer.
Hey, Gabe.
Hey, what?
Do you want some good news?
For the love of God, please.
Are you in the mood for some good news today?
I'm in the mood for, like, a shining light.
Modern Times Beer Brewing has reopened 4 of their brewery locations in Santa Barbara and San Diego as of June 1st. Thank you. As of June 1st, their Point Loma, North Park, Encinitas, and Santa Barbara locations will reopen for dining in, draft beer, coffee, and to-go sales. Now, of course, as you might imagine, this does come with a variety of social distancing restrictions that are in place. Your group can be no more than 6 people. You must be sitting down. You must order a meal to enjoy a drink. You can't just go get a beer. These are state rules. And then, of course, they've got apparently 11 pages of internal guidance for their staff. Of course, PPE, different things like that. They are going cashless for the time being and encouraging people to pay with like mobile devices and encouraging people to use their digital menus. But all of that's fine because somebody will be serving you a beer. I would give anything for a beer on tap right now. I might drive to San Diego just for this.
Same though. It hits different. We need to do a Modern Times episode because you had one of their beers during our What's in Your Fridge episode, but we didn't really dive into them too much. So
they have. I absolutely like. I'm all about Modern Times right now. Don't ask me why. They are just IPAs, and there's like a whole lineup of them, and they have other stuff too. But like their IPAs are just like great, classic, go-to IPAs. Like I'm a big fan. But I bet the people want to know what we're drinking today because we didn't tell them. But it's a big day.
We have some we finally did it. We have some barrel-aged delights.
This episode is devoted to all the good things that can come out of a barrel.
And we are so excited for it. Ugh. I will be drinking 2 selections from Interboro Brewing out of Brooklyn. Steven, what do you got? You got something different.
I got one from Lost Abbey and one from Mother Earth Brew Company. Not to be confused with Mother Earth Brewing Company, but we'll get into that.
I can't wait.
But yeah, all things that have spent some time in the little wooden beauties
in the barrels of love.
So Gabe, give us a toast real quick because this thing it's just staring at me and it's a really pretty color and I'm really excited
also
about
before my toast though, I want to remind the people of what you said about barrel aging when I think we first brought it up like way back. Listen, you could barrel age piss and I'd probably still drink it. So I hope you're still committed to that.
I believe I said you could barrel age piss and it would make it better. I'm not sure I said...
Rule number 76, play like a champion.
Fair enough.
Hit me with that music. I will admit, it's a quick one, but I think it packs a punch.
You know what? Give it to me quick because I'm ready to dive into this.
Pain makes you stronger. Tears make you braver. Heartbreak makes you wiser. And beer makes you not remember any of that crap. Salud.
That was short and sweet. I liked it. And to
short
the
and
point.
Sweet. It's all we need. There's no time for a long one.
I know.
We got stuff to do.
Oh my God, let me at this beer, please, for the love of God. Come here, you beautiful, beautiful barrel-aged bastard. This is...
Barrel-aged bastard.
This is Lost Abbey's Red Poppy Ale. The Red Poppy Ale is a staple of Lost Abbey Brewing and has been there since they opened in 2006. Lost Abbey's Red Poppy Ale is a veritable celebration of sour cherries in an explosion of aromas and tastes, brewed from a brown ale base and aged in oak barrels for over 12 months. This beer is not for the faint of heart. It comes in at an ABV of 6.5%. The IBUs do not matter to you or me because it's a sour. So on the SRM chart, it is a beautiful, beautiful dark mahogany color. It is like you.
Oh wow!
You absolutely can't.
I was expecting more red.
It's like this. I mean, the red is there. Like, I don't want to classify this beer as brown or anything like that.
No, of course not.
By any means, it's more like I would put it around maybe like 34, 35-ish. It's like a deep, nice mahogany color. I can't really see through it, but it's not like cloudy. I think that's just sort of the temperature of the beer. I'm drinking it out of a TQ glass. The head was pretty minimal. I mean, it had like a khaki head that dissipated pretty quickly because of how carbonated it seemed when I was pouring it in. Baby. Okay, on the nose, it is, I mean, you get the tart cherries up front.
Yeah, cherry pie.
It's like, it's not like a sweet cherry though, you know, it's not like cherry popsicle or something. It's like dark cherry, like cherry jam, like really dark age. I mean,
so it's like cherries, but for like adults.
Yeah, I mean, you get the oakiness that's in there, and it's also got this like, I mean, there are caramel malts in there. It's brewed as a Flanders red ale, and like I said, it's got a brown ale base, so it's got this like these caramel malts in there, and so you get this vanilla, cinnamon, but definitely funk, red wine. The yeast esters are coming through. I mean, you can smell that it's going to be sour. Can I drink it now? Please.
Hold on, wait.
Please.
Wait, hold on. All right, go ahead.
Oh, thank God.
I don't know why you're waiting for me, but sure.
Whew, okay.
The face you made, I was waiting for you to go, huh.
Can you imagine if after all that build-up, I tasted it and I was like,
you were just like,
well, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
No, it's not at all. It's okay. What I love about this is it is a fruited sour, but it's about the barrel expression. I mean, you taste it and it's got a nice malty backbone to it. The bitter flavors come through, the darker flavors come through. It's definitely tart. You do get the cherries loud and clear, but that caramel malt balances out the acidity. There's notes of blackberries, dark fruit, dark orange, some bitters. I don't know that I get like vanilla or caramel necessarily, but the maltiness it just like tames the acidity, but it's there. I mean, it's like drinking a good red wine. Like, it is a really sophisticated beer. It's dry, it's acidic, it's medium bodied, and then on the back end it leaves you with just like a lingering tartness, almost like you just drank, like drinking cranberry juice or something like that, but like way less sweet, you know. It's like a delightful alcoholic, no sugar added cranberry juice. It is fermented twice, clearly because it's fermented in the stainless steel barrels and then it's aged for a year in the oak barrels. But it's a blend of two different beers. So they take a dark beer, they ferment that, and then after they blend it with a lager before they put it in the French oak wine barrels. Also, it's got a really pretty label. It's like this bright red flower. I don't have it with me. It's over there, but Tommy Arthur is the brewmaster at Lost Abbey. You remember him? He's the guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Arthur from the Tiny Bubbles guy that we had with the little dude.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
He's the brewmaster
Our
at
boy.
Lost Abbey. Yes, and
get him on the show.
He has said that this the label of this beer is his favorite label. But wow, yeah, this they love this beer. This is an impressive beer, man. Lost Abbey themselves is actually an offshoot of Pizza Port Brewing Company. They imagined themselves as part of this crusade against in the battle between good and evil, good beer and evil beer. So they have this kind of philosophy that there's a battle being waged between those who make good beer and those who make evil beer. I'm not calling out any names on that. I don't know what they mean by bad beers, but
stay thirsty, my friends.
I didn't say it.
Hashtag corn syrup.
I didn't say anything. They also have established the 10 commandments of beer that I'm going to live my life by. And if you'll indulge me, let's just review these real quick. The 10 commandments of beer are: the most imaginative beers are our crusade. We believe that we are all in this together. We strive for honesty and integrity in our lives, like you. Fresh beer is great. Aged beer is better. That's my favorite thing about this company. Fresh beer is great. Aged beer is better.
Someone finally got it.
Now that you have found us, help us spread the message. Will do. There is good and evil in the world. Our beers are good. Agreed. Passion isn't something you can buy at the corner store. Okay. We believe an inspired life is worth living. Life is about choices. The Lost Abbey is a great choice. We are not perfect, but no one is. Vince Marsaglia was the man's name who dreamed up this project. He wanted to focus on, the brewing traditions of Belgium. Lost Abbey, if you couldn't tell by their name, is committed to Belgian brewing traditions. So Tommy Arthur was hired to work at Pizza Port Brewing Company in 1997, which was Vince Marsaglia's company. They started working on this kind of side project of Belgian beers out of Pizza Port, and then eventually they decided to kind of branch off, but they work out of the same building. So Stone Brewing relocated, and the old building that was Stone is now half Pizza Port and half Lost Abbey, which is kind of cool. So basically, Port Brewing handles the aggressive San Diego / West Coast styles, and then the Belgian-inspired series come from Lost Abbey. And today, Port Brewing has become a staple of the craft brewing scene, largely thanks to the Lost Abbey section of their profile, as well as a library of 1,000 plus oak, bourbon, brandy, sherry, and wine barrels that comprise one of the most remarkable barrel aging programs for a craft brewery of any size.
That sounded sexy to me.
It felt sexy to talk about. This brewery is worth an episode in and of itself. The same could probably be said of all the breweries we're about to talk about today, but
oh yeah, I'm sure.
I'm going to sit over here and just nuzzle in with my red poppy ale and enjoy this while you talk to the people for a bit.
And what's funny is I am also drinking a sour that is aged in barrels. We did not plan this, but mine is also a fruity sour. I am drinking from Interboro Brewing out in Brooklyn, the Interboro Chisel Tip Blue. Now, this is one of 3 Chisel Tip varieties in their Chisel Tip series. This is the blue. It's an American wild / sour ale wine barrel aged beer for 8 months to 2 years, and then it's aged, wait for it, on blueberries for 2 months. Now, I'm going to be real. You know me. I'm not the biggest sour fan, but when I saw blueberries, I was like, let's go.
Okay,
no question about it.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Oh my god, no way. I had no idea.
It blue. This beer is coming in at a fun 7%. IBUs 0. On the SRM scale, we're looking at I would call this a 31 to 33. It looks like blueberry juice almost. It's kind of similar to yours. It's got that like woody color.
Yeah,
but
yours is a little lighter than mine. Like mine's like a deep
yeah.
mahogany. Yours is more, but I see what you mean. Like it's not, when he says blueberry juice, it's not like blue. It's just like
no, yeah, right, yeah,
kind of the color
it's
of
just,
like, I don't know, apple juice or something. Yeah.
It is in wine barrels for the blue blend. They were racked into steel tanks with 75 pounds of fresh blueberries grown in upstate New York at Indian Ladder Farms. Shout out to Indian Ladder Farms. And aged 2 months on the fruit. The head dissipated very quickly, no head retention at all. Lacing is not really existent. It's kind of fallen down slowly. On the nose, ooh, yeah, we're getting sour up in this piece. This just smells like a fruity sour, like 100%.
Yeah, so you're probably getting like the funky tart, like the same thing I was kind of getting, like the esters and the...
It's from what I read online, it was just tart, sour, blueberry, funk, juicy. And I can attest to that 100%. Yeah, it's got that funkiness to it. It's got that tart smell to it. And yeah, I am ready to dive in.
I would love to entertain the people while you drink, but I'm just enjoying my beer over here, so...
You're self-indulging, we get it. So, I will say, after reading about the beer, I think I was expecting a little more tart and sour flavor. Just because, like I said, it isn't my favorite, so I think I was like mentally preparing, like, get ready, it's going to punch you in the mouth. No, it was actually, I could drink this regularly, I think. I mean, maybe not every day. But it was very, very delicious. I don't think I've ever highlighted a beer as delicious before. There's always flavors and it makes you feel, but this one, it tastes kind of like, I read a review somewhere and it said kind of like ice cream in a way.
Ooh.
And I feel like I get the sweetness of that. Not necessarily ice cream, but I get the sweetness of that. Blueberries 100%. Little bit of that acidity. It's got a bright, like jammy sort of flavor to it. The finish is definitely dry. It's got that yeast and a little bit of earthiness to it. It kind of sneaks up on you on the back end. It's very easy to drink. This is dangerous.
And I'm
all for it.
7%. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like we are drinking kind of the same beer in a way.
That's what I'm saying. Like when we didn't even you started describing yours, and I thought, wow, we did pretty well.
Blueberries versus cherries, but what's great about it is, of course, like we've said it on the podcast before, and like sorry, but we're just not big sour people. Like a lot of people are, and that's just not really our go-to, but I really have an appreciation for this style, and what I love about this episode is we're getting to show what a barrel can do on two completely different sides that I think are, your beers and mine are very similar. Both of them are. So,
and what's really cool about the similarities between these two, the fruitiness, the sourness, but they're both barreled kind of almost the same way in the style of, it's
mine is just they blend a lager into the dark brown ale that they've already fermented, and then that all gets aged in the wine barrels. So I don't know if yours is a blend of beers or if yours is just one base that then goes into the wine barrels. I'm not sure.
I believe it's just thrown in with the wine barrel and then aged with the blueberries.
Fresh blueberries.
But it's strained with Brett C. and El Keg and bottle conditioned for 5 months. It's a lot easier to drink than I thought it would be, which means I'm going to crush this bottle tonight. This 500 milliliter size bottle, by the way, because a 12-ounce bottle, that ain't happening with barrel.
Well, the tough thing about sours, I mean, if you're a sour person, if you're a real sour person, now, if you're someone who's into sours, like, okay, my mom loves sour beer, but my mom's sour beer traditional that she'll drink is she'll go with a Goza or a Berliner Weiss or a Wit or something because it's similar to that, and she likes other kinds of beer too. But I mean, if you're going to drink something like this, which has been aged in barrels for a year, 2 years, and has fresh fruit in it and stuff, you're going to pay for it. I mean, these beers are not cheap, and they don't come in small cans. They're not something you can often buy, 12 ounces of.
But they're so worth it, and it's it'll make for a great evening. So we highly recommend it. With this beer specifically, like I said, it comes in the Chisel Tip series. They have their Chisel Tip Blue, their Chisel Tip Red, and their more famously Chisel Tip Dark. All fairly similar with different flavors, barrel aged kind of the same way. But yeah, this is Big Boy Blue in the series, and I am a fan. And a little bit of sediment at the bottom, which happens.
Not a bad thing in a sour. Hey,
that's what I'm saying. It shows you where it comes from. It shows you its roots, and I appreciate that.
Maybe you're someone in a relationship, something Gabe and I know nothing about, and maybe you guys want to split a bottle of something, and she likes wine, but you're more of a beer person, and you could be like, hey, babe, maybe we should drink this sour.
Interboro is Brooklyn's first and only brewery and distillery. They have ales and they have spirits. They are 100% self-distributed. They are a tightly run ship, consisting of 5 full-time brewers, distillers, and sellers to help keep it running. And very recently, they added a canning line to get the products out even quicker. Like I said, they have beers, they have spirits. They also have, wait for it, hand sanitizer. Hashtag wash your hands. They came out with their own brand of hand sanitizer because they knew it would be needed, and they donated a large portion to first responders out there in the COVID-19 world. Thank you guys. They are fairly new. They have been operating since September of 2016, and their big thing is they have a very strong emphasis on community and serving their customers, whether it be far and wide, more specifically the New York City, Brooklyn area. They have a lot of cool stuff. They are a very modernized looking tight ship run facility. They have pickup available. Right now they're closed, unfortunately, happens, due to everything, but they have pickup options, and they also have their rapid transit delivery, basically store to door delivery service where you can order online to the site and you receive a delivery of the beer. And all deliveries come with a bag of their tasting room's spicy popcorn. And apparently it's a legal requirement. They have beers, spirits, and weekend food specials are available right now through Caviar, which is a food delivery service app. Like I said, they are closed right now, but over the weekends, they have food available. They have tasting rooms available for a visit in the Brooklyn location, again, once they're open. At the tasting room, you'll get included a full flight of beers, including several IPAs, as the IPA is kind of their signature style. They're also making whiskey, which, Steven, when are you coming here, and when are we going to the brewery?
We like it.
Bang! Exclamation point!
Because I absolutely have to try this.
I want to drop a whiskey shot into one of their beers, and then
let's do it. I'm sure we wouldn't be the first person to do it, but they've got a lot of great stuff. One last thing, real quick, like I said, beers. They've got spirits. They have their homemade gin and their homemade Lexical Amaro, which is kind of like a dessert liqueur. Ooh. And they have cocktails in cans. So they have a Goodwin Hill gin and tonic, a hibiscus and lime gin and tonic, and a lemon and ginger gin and juice, all coming in cans, 12-ounce sizes, all really cool. If you go to the website, you can see all the descriptions and all the different selections. Interboro out of Brooklyn. I'm a fan, and I've got another one of your beers to sample, so I propose a cross-country clink, and you go into your second beer.
Let's do it. Okay, so can I be honest with the people right now? Can I open up? Can I tell my story?
No, tell a lie.
I feel the feeling that I feel when I'm getting on the big ride at the amusement park and I'm locked in and I'm about to go on a roller coaster ride that I'm kind of scared about.
Oh my God. You're annoying.
I'm just it's like a mixture of excitement but a little bit of nerves. I'm not gonna lie. I'm drinking the Mother Earth Brew Company 4 Seasons Autumn 2019. Now, here's the thing. They have a few different beer series at this company, and they're kind of exclusive. What they call their creme de la creme of the brewery is their 4 Seasons series. They've been doing it for years, and every single season they introduce a different beer. So, they're labeled by the year, and it's August 2019, winter 2019, summer 2020. I mean, that's how they label them. So this is the August 2019 version. Fear not, it's been very well stored, and it is as fresh as it can be for when it was canned. It's not bad. So lay off me,
Steven,
Fuzz. What?
But Steven, is it hashtag fresh to death?
No, it's not. It was canned like 6 months ago.
Oh man, it's not fresh to death.
No,
well,
it's definitely not.
You try.
But it's a barrel-aged stout, aged in bourbon barrels, and it is a graham cracker stout with cranberries added to it.
Oh,
so
interesting.
It's an imperial graham cracker stout with cranberries aged in bourbon barrels that also contains vanilla, molasses, and cinnamon. Shiver me timbers.
So there's that.
It has an ABV of 11.6%. IBUs are at 65. On the SRM chart, it's around a 40. It's very dark. It's very brown, almost black. Beer Advocate does not have a rating for this one because it's a seasonal situation. This one hasn't gotten any ratings on there. Untapped has it at 4.11. The head on it was this like beautiful khaki tan head that just kind of sat there for a while and then collapsed really slowly. We took a nice little break between the last one, so we could get the tart sour thing out of our mouths before we blasted it with some stoutage. It's okay when you smell it. It just like whaps you in the face with like honey, cinnamon, sweet, vanilla. Ooh. Like it honestly, when I poured it, the first thought I had was like, that looks like a milkshake. It's just like,
oh, nice.
It's so, yeah, that hits you. And then, there's like a bourbon character behind it. And then you can definitely detect, the tartness of the cherry. Kind of smells like chocolate covered cherry a little bit. Or like cherry chocolate cake or something. It's spicy.
Nothing wrong with
that. There's a lot going on the nose. Whew, here we go, people.
3, 2, 1, blast off.
That's very appropriate because Elon Musk just launched his rocket into space.
Yes, he did.
Okay. The sweetness hits first. The vanilla and cinnamon. I mean, graham cracker could not be more accurate. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I mean, it's just this explosion of like sweet, yummy, like dessert flavors. But then it's not too sweet. Like I wouldn't put it in the category of dessert beer because the bourbon character is there. You get the sort of like dark bitterness, the oak characters, and then as it goes down, the backside of it is the cherry that hits you. Like when you take a sip, you would not go, "Oh, there's cherry in this," but as you start to swallow it and it sort of goes through your mouth, you're like, "Oh, there it is." It kind of warms into this like cherry finish. It's rich, it's full-bodied, gently carbonated. It does kind of like. You're not going to eat this with dinner, drink this with dinner at all. This is one for you to sip on later.
This is dinner. Like, this is in the place of dinner, just with all the flavors and whatnot. And it's really cool that it's got the, it's like, oh, you don't taste that. And then you swallow it and you go, oh, there it is.
Yeah,
it's
like,
effect.
It's layers, man. It's definitely one of those beers that like, it hits you with something and then it turns into something and then it turns into something else. And then in the back end, it leaves you with this like, lingering dark sweetness, almost like you just ate like some melted chocolate, like you had like some melted chocolate in your mouth and that's like left behind.
Nice.
This is fucking delicious, for lack of a better word. 10 out of 10 from Steven. My kind of beer, my kind of situation. I mean, would I drink this every day? No. Is this my favorite beer I've ever had? No, because that's a very specific beer that we'll have on the podcast one day. But it's the kind of beer I like because it's something I've never experienced graham cracker flavor like this in a beer before. And to have it in a beer that is so rich in the body and so heavy in the ABV and doesn't compromise all of those things, so it can stand up to the sweetness of the graham cracker, and that doesn't, it's not cloying in any way, is really impressive. Four Seasons, just to give you an example of some of the Four Seasons of the past, they've had, in their 2018 series for autumn, they had a bourbon barrel aged imperial oatmeal stout brewed with coconut. The year before that, okay, skipping that one, peanut butter. They had a Belgian quad one year, Scotch ale. In the winter series last year, in 2018, they had a imperial stout brewed with coffee and cinnamon. For their summer situation, they have, appropriate stuff. They had a hazy IPA in 2019. The year before that, they had a barrel-aged imperial stout brewed with raspberries. And the spring 2020 one is out. It is a BBA barley wine with pecan flavor in it. It's a big American barley wine with the pecan flavor, caramelized pecan finish, buttery texture, big body, mahogany beer. That looks delish as well, 12.1 ABV. So you can't get your hands on the one I'm drinking most likely unless your beer store, like mine, has a little bit of inventory to offload. That's been properly stored. But you can take a look out for their Four Seasons in other places. As I mentioned briefly at the top of the show, Mother Earth Brewing Company is different from Mother Earth Brewing Company in North Carolina. This is very, very confusing. They have similar looking labels and similar looking websites. If you go to motherearthbrewco.com, you'll find this brewery. If you go to motherearthbrewingcompany.com, you'll find the one in North Carolina. So
who copied who in this situation?
Yeah, so don't do that. It's very confusing. But you know what? The one with the Wikipedia page is the one I'm drinking now. So suck it, North Carolina.
Wow.
This company has tap rooms in Vista, California, which is where they started, and also one in Nampa, Idaho. Like Tampa with an N. Nampa. Started by Daniel Love in 2010, and Daniel moved to Idaho in 2016 to spearhead the Nampa project. I don't know what made him want to move to Idaho of all places, but apparently at the time they quickly became one of the biggest breweries in Idaho because there aren't a lot there. They have year-rounders. They have their Project X, which is basically beers with dope-ass labels. They're like labels created based off artwork, and it's like they're sick. I mean, they're just awesome. I don't know how the beers are, but the labels are dope.
That's like McKellar, too.
That's right. Yeah.
Give me a label, we'll make a beer around it.
And then they have their specialty beers, and they've got awards on awards. They're a really cool brewery, but they're a family-owned and operated place that's crushing it, both in California and in Idaho. This beer is delicious, and just another great example of the magic a barrel can create.
And I did want to say real quick, it is very nice to see how a company is using the graham cracker beer very well. I feel like there are a lot of companies that try it, and some do well and some don't, because I feel like there's this very specific flavor to it.
It's like, the thing with graham cracker is, when you say graham cracker, what are you really talking about? You're talking about sweet flavors of honey, cinnamon, vanilla, primarily, molasses, and those are such sweet components that they can really only stand up to a beer that is a stout. But if it doesn't have a rich and layered flavor of other things going on, it can just be cloying and terrible. And they managed, with the barrel aging, with the high ABV, everything else that this beer has going on, they managed to do a beer that was definitely sweet, but also warming, like perfect for the holiday. I mean,
yeah.
I said it's an autumn 2019 beer. Like, give me this at Thanksgiving. Shut the door. I'm watching football and I'm drinking this beer.
Yeah,
Don't speak to me.
Shut up, Dad.
Yeah. Nobody speak.
Give me a turkey leg and leave me alone.
I'm praying. What do you have over there?
I have, again, very similar. I have a barrel-aged stout. The name of this pretty penny is called More Gold Than the Man on the A-Team Barrel-Aged Stout. Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a statement. That's a statement right there, and I'm all for it. Like yours, mine is coming in at a fun 11%. IBUs, I would call it, a solid 39 or a 40. I mean, it's pretty jet black from my eyes. The head is kind of like yours in the sense of the khaki pillowy, very small, but it has retained nicely. It hasn't moved at all. A little bit of lacing on the sides, so that's cool to see. On the IBUs, like I said, IBUs are around 40. The SRM chart is about 40. Beer Advocate gave it a nah, bro. They didn't review it.
Yeah, mine either.
Untapped.
The Red Poppy was on there, but this one, it's just when you do these beers that are small batch, the Beer Advocate users can't get their hands on them. You got to come to our podcast to hear what we think of the beer.
Todd. But Untapped was able to get their hands on it. They gave it a 4.21. This beer is brewed in collaboration with Transmitter Brewing, which is in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. It's aged 12 months in oak, and it's fermented with a Belgian yeast strain. From what I read about it, it has all the characteristics of a fun stout, that chocolatey, vanilla-y, cocoa, oak smell and taste to it. So I am going to dive in and see what it's all about, if it's true on the nose.
And it's aged in Woodford barrels. I am a fan of Woodford.
Indeed. Woodford double oak barrels for 12 months for added oak and vanilla character. Interesting. Okay. The smell. I'm getting the oak. Not really getting, flavor. I'm getting that woody, oaky smell to it.
Is it sweet at all? Or is it more like bitter chocolate?
On the nose, I'm getting the bitter chocolate in the back. It's like the last thing I smell. I'm wondering if that'll translate to the flavor profile. So here we go. Wow. Wowie wow. It starts as chocolate. When tasting, it starts as chocolate, and it slides down into vanilla spice. And I really mean that. It really it's almost as if you're taking a piece of chocolate and it melts in your mouth, and then eventually you get another flavor. It feels like I'm eating a piece of chocolate with a piece of vanilla inside it, and so when the chocolate melts, you taste the vanilla.
Yeah, as it warms into your mouth.
That's so interesting.
It opens into something else. Yeah, that's similar to mine. It's just that's what gets us, that's what fucking jazzes us about drinking beer. I love a lot of the beers that we have on the show, obviously, but when we get to drink a beer like this, for me, because of the experience that you get to have while you drink the beer, it just is, it's a whole other level.
It changes it.
Yeah.
It changes it completely. It's got the roasted characteristics to it, which is good because it's made with layers of roast wheat, chocolate malt, and 3 different crystal malts for a deep, sweet Maillard character based with a hint of roast bitterness. It really has that to it. I'm not necessarily tasting like coffee or anything like that, but it's got, I don't know, it's got the family of that. The family effect, and it's I am tasting the chocolate now, and it is very, I'm not getting a lot of sweetness. I wasn't sure if I would, and I'm not, which is fine.
Are you getting the barrel? You said you're getting the oak.
I'm getting the oak, and I'm getting it doesn't say it's made with spices or anything, but I'm getting that just flavor profile, what they put into it is what is in your glass.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting to see.
A beer like mine and maybe a beer like yours is dangerous too, because that 11.6 ABV, when it's as sweet as it is, I mean, I'm not tasting, like when I drink this, I am tasting all that I said I was tasting. By the way, the lacing, beautiful. But I'm not tasting a whole lot of booze. I'm tasting a bourbon character, and sometimes when you taste a bourbon character, you're reminded that there's booze in there because your brain thinks you're drinking like whiskey or something. But right. I'm not tasting a whole lot of booze, so I'm like happily down in this glass right now.
Oh, same. Yeah,
and
this is. I think I can speak for both of us when I say my stout and your stout. This is going to be the beer to put us over for the night and make us wake up tomorrow like, okay, I need like 10 minutes before I do anything.
Yep.
Which, you know what, is fine. It's
we offer ourselves up for you people.
We put our bodies through hell.
We take the plunge for you guys.
Yeah. They're drinking. Yeah, we know. It's just so bold, and you know, like I said, the name of it with the logo, it's got like the gold chain on the front, more gold than the man on the A team.
It's like Hercules, the Disney movie,
logo?
not the it looks like show it to me again.
Oh, like the font.
The font is like it looks like the Hercules or something.
Yeah, more or less, I would say.
Listen, don't judge my association.
Stevie, you got Disney Plus?
Yes, I do.
There you go. That's why he knows.
I watched Flubber recently.
Yo, throwback. Haven't seen that in
I did.
a while.
I've watched exactly 3 things on Disney Plus. I watched A Bug's Life. I watched The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan.
Oh God.
And I watched Flubber with Robin Williams and Marcia Gay Harden. And
that sounds pretty epic to me.
It was great. And I went through the same emotional trauma I went through the first time I watched Flubber, which is when that robot dies.
Spoiler! I'm just kidding.
Listen, if I'm spoiler alert in a movie that's 20 years old, you get over it.
What was the last Robin Williams movie I saw? I believe... Oh, it was Good Morning Vietnam. And Scott and I came up with a joke about how funny it would be if, like, you know, for the movie, Good Morning Vietnam! Yeah. If it was, instead of that, Good Morning Vietnam, how are you?
Good Morning Vietnam. I had to take a minute on Robin Williams movies. Like, I just recently watched Mrs. Doubtfire for the first time since 2014. I just had to take a minute because it was tough for me to watch that stuff. Still kind of is in a way.
Okay, so I'm going to give this beer, I think I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give the sour, I would say I'm going to give it a 9.1 out of 10. I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10.
That's big for a sour coming from Gabe.
Yeah. Anything above an 8, you're doing something right.
Before we go, I mean, I feel like we've mostly covered, you know, the reality is when we do this many breweries and this many beers, all of these breweries could easily be a full feature on the show. There's plenty more to say about them. 100%. I highly recommend you check out Lost Abbey. I highly recommend you check out Interboro. I highly recommend you check out Mother Earth in California. Don't check out Mother Earth in North Carolina. I don't give that my stamp of approval yet. Maybe if I drink their beers.
Well, we'll see.
One day. They might be great. But right now, I need you to check out the one in California. And that's motherearthbrewco.com, not motherearthbrewing.com.
We are going to get out of here, but before we do, we always like to end the episode on a fun little topic. And what better way to end an episode by shitting on the Houston Astros? Hey guys, how's that 2017 ring treating you? Does it turn your finger green? Well, it damn near should, you bastards. Departed Souls, a New Jersey brewery, introduced a new beer in their lineup called the Trash Can Banger. It's featuring a can with the Astros red, orange, and yellow striped colorway from the late 70s, early 80s. It is a session IPA. It is a 5.4% beer, and it's got a logo very similar to the Astros throwback uniforms. The owner of the brewery, Brian Kubacki, recently mentioned how, we're all hurting for sports right now and how we all want sports to come back and we'll live for kind of anything at this point. I saw a video of guys betting on what color car would pass by them and placing bets with money. Do you see that?
No, but that's genius.
It's hilarious. Like, that's where we're at now.
I would bet.
But yeah,
I would bet gray every time. You're gonna win more than you're gonna lose with gray.
exactly.
Most
Like
cars are
gray, white, black. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Green. What?
They wanted to introduce a new beer, and they figured what better way than to kind of poke fun at the Houston Astros for their sign-stealing scandal back in 2017 when they won the World Chip. And it's going pretty well. It's already sold out, apparently. You can only kind of get it at the brewery. But one thing I did love about it was among the ingredients are milk, sugar, and 2017 grams of hops in each barrel.
Yeah, I like that too. Hilarious.
Love it.
This is basically just them being like, well, we couldn't go to the ball. Can I be honest with you? I forgot this happened. Like, that's how long ago it feels like it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a while ago, yeah.
But it wasn't a while ago. It was like it wasn't that long ago. But
it wasn't that long ago that it came out. That was what it was. Because in 2017, nobody knew. And then, like, recently, everyone was like...
Yeah, but it was only, like,
the hell?
last year, not even, that people, like, found out about this and they were charged. It was a whole thing. And, like, the reason this beer is coming out now is because people don't get the opportunity to go to the ballpark and boo the Houston Astros. So this New Jersey brewer was like, we'll find a way.
What's really cool is he wants to travel to Texas to brew the beer there. That way they can sell it to the Astros fans who have a sense of humor. And they also want to use the proceeds to raise money for charity. I would assume some sort of COVID-19 relief, but he can do, anything. But yeah, I mean, it's...
The charity's like donating it to the Yankees.
I was just about to say
yeah, it's charity. They have like a new clubhouse.
Listen, I'm a diehard Yankees fan. I think we both are, but they don't need any more money. Let's be real.
I would say I'm not a diehard Yankees fan. I wouldn't die hard for that. I like if I had to pick one,
there we go.
I like the Yankees.
That works.
I'm a diehard
a few games.
Football fan.
Yes. Football.
Everything about baseball is great. I just wish the ball was more pigskin and more shaped in an oblong form, and that the field was a little longer, and they had goalposts at the other end, and that their teams were bigger, and they were fighting each other in an offense-defense type style and piling on top of each other in violent manners that sacrifices their bodies for my entertainment.
Baseball is great. I just wish the ball was different and they were playing football.
Yeah, I just wish ultimately that it was football, but like the best thing that could happen in a baseball stadium is like, remember the Oakland Raiders were playing football in the Oakland...
they played on the baseball field.
Yes, until they became the Vegas Raiders.
In certain points of their game, they'd get tackled and just that they weren't covered in turf; they were just covered in dirt.
I know, hilarious. But I still love this beer, and I like a baseball game. I will go to a baseball game.
This sounds like the perfect beer to drink at a ball game too. So
we have to get out of here, guys. Thank you for joining us for another round. We hope we've made it entertaining, fun. We feel great.
Yeah. Follow us on all the social medias. Send us an email. Tell us what you want us to drink. 5 stars and nothing. Like, comment, subscribe. Bash us in the comments if you want. We can take it. We're big boys.
Yeah, and most importantly, we want to reiterate our support for everything that's going on, and please protest forcefully but safely.
Yes, and be safe out there.
And we will see you next week for another round of beer drinking. Cheers,
Thank
everybody.
Thank you guys so much. Peace, love, and happiness, everybody.